if you've ever thought about becoming a real estate agent or wondered how people actually get started, this one's for you. And the truth is, getting into real estate may sound glamorous until you realize there's no paycheck until you make it happen. Here's how I did it, and here's what I wish I'd known. Before we dive in, I'm Corie Burke, a realtor here in Yakima, Washington, and on this channel, I share what it's really like to work in real estate and live right here in the Valley. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or even getting into real estate yourself, go ahead and hit subscribe, and let's dive in. So first, I want to start with what was I doing before real estate? I have a bachelor's degree in theater, communications, and public relations from Minot State University in Minot, North Dakota. Before getting into real estate, I worked in the automotive industry in business development, which is definitely where I learned more about what it takes to be successful in sales, about systems that help you scale your business, and processes for taking care of your customers in the most efficient way possible. Next, what drew me to real estate in the first place? Well, real estate and homes have long been a love of mine. It wasn't something that I just came across one day as an adult and was like, oh, I should try that. Even as a young kid, I loved going and looking at homes. I moved a lot as a kid and I loved looking at homes. In high school, I had to interview people who had careers that I thought I would enjoy. That was part of our senior year pre-graduation requirements. And I chose a realtor and the artistic director of a theater. So somehow I was keyed into something even then. I moved so much growing up that I just fell in love with homes and what they represented. Next thing you might ask is, well, what made you choose Yakima as your market? I personally didn't start in real estate right out of college because my husband was in the Air Force, and we kind of felt like starting a business that I would very likely end up leaving because we had no intentions to stay in North Dakota. It is very cold there. We didn't really think that it would make sense for me to start a business, get everything rolling, and really just have that for a short term. It felt really like a waste. But when my husband made the decision to get out of the military, and we had our choice of locations really, because he was going to be working, had a lot of interviews, a lot of different places. We really had our choice of locations. He was offered a lot of jobs, and we really settled on Yakima. And Yakima was at the top of our list to begin with because we could be closer to family and have 300 days of sunshine a year, which after feeling negative 66 in North Dakota, 300 days of sunshine a year sounded just perfect. But I really had a lot of big fears before jumping in. My biggest fears were jumping in with no guarantee of income for my efforts. I had just spent a lot of time in college, and college is very cause and effect. It's very clear, it's very linear. You do the things, you learn the things, you take the tests, you write the papers, you get the grade, and you graduate. And I had wanted a job like that, a job that very clear how I would make money and how I would get paid for my efforts. My job in the auto industry actually really helped me come to terms with not having a consistent income or not having a guaranteed income or relying on commission for a large part of my income. Position, I made a smaller hourly wage than I would have felt comfortable with if I wasn't earning a commission. And I learned very quickly that having some control over my income was really nice because I knew that my efforts directly correlated in how much money I was going to get paid, and my skills also correlated with that effort. And so I was consistently a top earner because I proved to myself time and time again that I could do this. I could do these difficult things. I could build these skills. And so going into real estate, luckily I had that little bit of time in the auto industry to feel that and to realize what that meant. And so when I went into real estate, I knew how to produce and how activities could translate into making money. And that is something, if you've never done it before, that can be a really, really harrowing idea. So yeah, it was scary. But luckily I had a little bit of experience with it, not at the same level as being 100% commission, but I did have some experience with it, and I had proven to myself that I could be successful in that kind of industry. So next, what did getting started in real estate look like? What did my first year look like? My first year, and really my first 3 or 4 years, were really a grind. I worked many, many hours and I learned so much. I served many clients and I also ended up developing into being the productivity coach for our office here, which in our brokerage means I was training new agents. And the highest form of learning is definitely teaching. So I got a lot of opportunities to learn and help a lot more people than even I could just help on my own. A question I get asked a lot, especially by new agents, is how did you find your first client? I actually joined a team when I first started. I was new to town. I literally, the day I took my test was the day after we drove into town from moving halfway across the country. So I didn't know anyone, and the nice part is she provided opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise. But actually, my first closing was not from the team. It was from someone that I met in Ignite. And Ignite is a class at Keller Williams that's really built around getting started in real estate. The client decided not to get licensed. She was in the class with me. She decided not to get licensed, but I had earned her trust throughout the class. And so I helped sell her house, and we are still great friends. We still get meals all the time. But some things were much harder than I expected. One of the things that was harder than I expected was finding clients. I think this is true of most people when they're getting into real estate. You know, it's going to be tough, and you know that it's going to be tough to learn on a lot of different fronts because you wear all the hats. You're the marketing, you're the lead generation, you are the negotiator, you're the contract preparation. But the part you kind of don't expect is that just getting the client to serve in the first place is actually one of the most difficult pieces. I know so many realtors who are excellent marketers or excellent negotiators, but since they aren't good at getting clients to begin with, their most valuable skills are kind of just stuck on the shelf. I'm also not the most extroverted person in the world, so I need to create systems that help me create the relationships, and I need those relationships to feed my business. That took time to work through, and that took time to work through and find what works best for me. I think you do a lot of trial and error until you see what works well in your business, and no two businesses look alike. That's certainly true. But I definitely did have some things that helped me stick it out when the going got tough. The first thing that really helped me stick things out is I had a really clear why. I knew this was the best path for me, and I was crystal clear on what I wanted, and real estate was the best path to help me get there. I had learned from my journey with my autoimmune disease and working in corporate environments that I needed flexibility, and I needed flexibility to work when I felt well and to work from home as much as I could and to be able to make hay while the sun shines and I feel really good. And I needed to be able to also take a break when I wasn't feeling well. If I continued to try to push through when I wasn't feeling well, that's how I ended up with more severe symptoms and more severe issues. Another great thing about it is I could also build multiple streams of income where I could earn money whether or not I could physically push myself. It also had the income potential to reach our family's financial goals, and many W-2 jobs just don't have that kind of opportunity. Truthfully, most W-2 jobs don't have the kind of earning potential that I needed or the flexibility. I need to be able to work a lot when I feel well, and I need to be able to work a little when I don't. And I need to be able to work from home as much as possible to maintain my health. So the earning potential and flexibility of real estate just made a lot of sense for me. So I was crystal clear that this was the best path for me and my family, and that I needed to make this work. My crystal clear why is one of the reasons I was able to persevere when getting started in real estate, because it's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. Next, you might be asking, why Yakima? What makes Yakima a unique place to work in real estate is a big little city. It feels very small town, and in many other areas you may never do a cross sale with the same realtor twice, or you might rarely do it, but in all markets, the top 20% of realtors do 80% of the business. So for us, the top 20% of realtors isn't that many different people. So we end up all doing more business with each other than in other markets. Relationships are really everything in real estate, not just with our clients and with the families of our clients, their friends, family, but it's also really important with other realtors. You cannot afford to develop a bad reputation with anyone, or it puts you and your clients and your business at risk. The community here really shapes how I do business. Because of my avid theater community here and my engagement in that space, I am able to connect with a lot of people who share my values and my love for theater. Having these spaces to connect and to give back provides me really great opportunities to speak with more people and learn more about what they need. So I do have some advice I would love to give to someone new to the area or new to the business here. The first thing I would say is make a concerted effort to connect with people who are doing business the way you want to do it on a deeper level. Those are your people. Find ways to help them, and they will find ways to help you. Reciprocity and feeling like people are bringing value to you and you're bringing value to them is one of the best pieces of advice I can give to any new realtor. Bring value and expect value. Now I just want to take a couple of minutes and talk about a step-to-step breakdown of how to get licensed here in Washington. The first thing you need to do is you need to complete 90 hours of pre-license education. You can do those online or in person through Washington Approved Schools, Rockwell, the CE Shop, Kaplan. Keller Williams actually has a scholarship program to pay for school for you. So if you're interested in that opportunity, let me know at corieburke@gmail.com and let's see if we can get you into the school for free. Number 2 is pass the Washington State Real Estate Exam. It's a multiple choice test on state and national law. It can be very, very, very stressful. So my piece of advice for you, it is not a fun environment to be in. This testing room is not a very fun place. So I would say take the practice tests that are available to you consistently until you're getting at least 90%, and then you'll go in, you'll feel really confident, and you'll ace that test. It has no bearing on your potential success as a realtor. Basically, it's about how to stay out of jail and some math that you are always going to have a calculator available to use. Even if you ever do that math, a lot of it is actually property management math or commercial math, which you're never going to use. So learn it well enough to pass the test, and then you can promptly forget all of it because it's really going to have no bearing on your success in real estate. Some of the best realtors I know did very poorly on the test and had to take it multiple times. Next, you need to submit your fingerprints and background check to the Department of Licensing. And I would actually say do this early. They changed the process a few years ago and it's become very tedious. So do it actually even before you take your test, so you're not waiting on your results and your fingerprints to match up at the Department of Licensing. Apply for your license online through the Department of Licensing. Find a managing broker to affiliate with. You must work under a brokerage like Keller Williams Yakima Valley is where I hang my license, and you must activate your license under that chosen brokerage. So if you're thinking about a career in real estate here in Yakima or anywhere, know that it's really not easy, but it is absolutely worth it if you love helping people and building something that's your own. If you want to talk more about getting started, reach out. I'm always happy to help and share what I've learned and help you find your footing. And if you're here because you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing here in Yakima, that's what I do every day. So let's connect. You can always reach me at corieburke@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Corie Burke with Keller Williams Yakima Valley, and I'll see you in the next one.